everyone. Welcome back to Life Cues Week 11. I hope everybody had a great week last week. And you guys are all busy working in your Life Cues books. I've had a lot of new subscribers, and I'm not sure if they're following Life Cues or if they're following my vlogs. But I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're all here and you're following along. Introduce yourselves in the comments section, and I hope you can all play and have fun creating together. So for this week, I am going to work and talk because I don't know how long it's going to take me to do this page. But anyway, I was busy watching the March for Our Lives against gun violence, and I was in awe of those young kids. I still am in awe. Like, it takes a child to change the world, pretty much, you know. Those kids are doing things that are bringing attention in such a way that has never been done before about school gun violence. So we don't have that same problem here. But that does not mean I don't stand behind those that are against the gun violence. There was one little girl, I believe her name was Naomi Wadier, and she was 11 years old, okay? I have played back her video for my grandsons, I don't know how many times. I'm just amazed at this child, amazed. And during her speech, she was talking about how she was speaking about how she walked out of school in support of the death of a lot of young African-American young women that don't make the news. And remember, this child is 11. This baby is 11 years old. And she said that some people were discussing that she was too young to have those kind of feelings and thoughts, and that she was the tool of some, in her words, nameless adult. And she said her and her friends are not too young to know that life isn't equal for everyone, and they're not too young to know the difference between right and wrong. And I'm like, speak, child, speak. Beautiful. She was so eloquent in the way she spoke, so calm in her voice and her message. And then one line that she said that really resonated with me, she quoted a line from Toni Morrison, or a quote from Toni Morrison. And she said, if there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, you must be the one to write it. And I'm like, now, if that isn't a message to all of us about everything and anything, something we want to see and we want to speak upon, and it hasn't been done yet, like these young people, I don't believe anybody's ever, I could be wrong, but march to the degree and the attention that they did for gun violence. And it got me thinking about all of these ideas that I've had in my head that I want to do. But you kind of sit back, I guess, and wait for maybe somebody else to do them, or I don't know. Like, it's like Marianne Williamson's, that prayer she wrote, and I can't even remember the name of the prayer. I'll look it up. But where she says, it's not that we're afraid to fail. It's that we are afraid of how great we may become. And it's so true. We're like scared to do stuff because we don't know if we can handle who we are when that all comes to pass, you know? So I've been wanting to start something on YouTube, and I haven't really mustered up it's not the courage, but I guess the work that it requires to do it, because things aren't easy. You can't just like blink your eyelash and they're done, your eyelashes, because we have more than one eyelash. But I've been wanting to do something with regards to wisdom journals and creating them, and then sharing that with you guys and going from there. And I'm going to do that. After that little girl said that, I was like, you are so right. Oh, I should tell you what I'm using. The blue and the pink are Distress inks, Tim Holtz Distress inks. And this orange is Distress Oxide. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not quite sure what's the difference between the two, but apparently there is. I have no idea what it is. You can tell this one is so much creamier than the other two. I want to put some blue down in this corner. So where's my applicator? Here it is. I keep all of my applicators in this little homemade, my foamy applicator. I don't know where I made this, but I'm not sure what was originally in this box, but that's where I put them. Then it's easy to just swap them out and switch the colors when you need them. So yeah, so that is the theme of my prompt today. If there isn't a book if there's a book you want to read and it hasn't been written, you must be the one to write it. So it's basically being the author of your own story. You can't sit back and let other people do it. You have one life to live. And that isn't just a soap opera title. So now I'm going to take just some, this is just a plain spray bottle. It's kind of ginormous, I know. And I love the effect when you splatter on Distress ink, and we'll see what happens to that other ink, the oxide. And then you just let it dry and you get those neat kind of tie-dyed effects. Love it. So I will be back when this all dries. So here's my beautiful background. Isn't it cool? Looks like tie-dye if you look really close. Isn't that just the coolest? I love how that looks. So now I am going to take some computer paper and I'm going to draw a book. And I'm only using this book because I just want the rectangular shape. So I'm just roughly making a rectangle here. I'm not even going right up to the corners because I'm going to be rounding them off anyway. So there, I have a rectangle. That book's almost a little bit too big for what I want, but we shall see. So now I'm going to make a line just straight. Let me grab my ruler. Just a straight line down the side there. Almost the width of this ruler, actually. So I'm just going to go down to about here. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a bit of a curvy line right here. Just kind of where the book kind of curves a bit. And then we're going to take that all the way here and we're going to curve our book a bit more on the ends. Like that, see? And then what I'm going to do is make another, following this curvy line, I'm going to make another one. All the way to there. It's almost like a U, but a curvy U. You guys probably already know how to draw a book. I'm not very good at drawing anything. So then I'm just going to curve these lines too to make my book more curvy and more real looking. And I'm going to make these lines a little bit more, bring this down again. I mean, it's really not that hard. You can see. Here's the book. And there we go. Kind of make our curve like that. So I'm just going to fart around with my book here on paper. And I am going to, I'm going to draw lines in here for pages. This one looks kind of like a book. And I would draw a nameplate up there, but I'm going to actually put something there. So let me just go, and I'm going to trace around all of this with a black felt pen. So what you're looking at here is absolutely nothing but my mat. So I drew my book right here. I made it a little bit smaller. It was a little bit too big. Now I'm going to take some more distress ink. This page is becoming all about distress ink, which I didn't plan on it. But anyway, I'm just going to rub it on my mat. This mat, by the way, is a chair pad. And we've been using them in our art cabin and in here, and they're fantastic, as you can see. This is just a little piece of what was left over. And we got the idea from Miriam. I think her tag is Small Art on YouTube. So I'm spraying this pretty plum color. I don't want to mix colors. I just wanted one color because the background is already, you know, quite colorful. I'm just going to take my book cover and I'm just going to let it pick up some of that purple. Trying to leave the pages so they don't get purple. So easy. These distress inks just make life easy peasy. See that? Now I have a purple book. Isn't that pretty? And I'll try and get a little bit more right. But there. There. There's my purple book. We'll let that dry. And I'm going to take this baby wipe that I used before and clean that up. Lickety splickety. Look at that. This works better than those mats that you buy, craft mats. So I will just bring my gun in to dry this and I'll be back. So here's my book and I'm just about to glue it down on the background. I love the colors of the background. Outline it in a really dark black once I'm all done everything. Put it about there. That's a neat little book, if I do say so myself. So I wanted to add this. Now this is some trim from a Christmas thing. So as long as I don't use the word Noel, I think you won't really notice it's Christmassy, or I can always somehow, you know, gesso over some of the Christmas words. But I just wanted to put it as my in there. So cut that off. So here's my book plate that I'm going to have on the book. And I took some old vintage paper, like the wrong side, and I typed "Be the author of your own story," because that's going to be the name of my book. And so I'm just going to get some 2-way tape. I've got some right here. And I thought I had one open. Oh yeah, I do, right here. And I'm just going to stick this on this little frame here. That should work just jiggity-boo. Okay, there is the title of my book, all glued down. I used my craft glue from the Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to work on just some elements for my page. So this is just a little, forget what these are called, coin envelopes. Janet gave me a whole bunch when she was in the UK. So I'm going to lick it closed. Just a quick little lick. I've already inked around it with the same color that I used that. And that color was called Seedless Preserves by Tim Holtz Distress Ink. So there, it's just sealed closed. There's nothing in it. So I'm going to take some sealing wax here. And, oh, I just have to get a lighter. I got my torch that I use for other art projects, and I'm just going to drip some wax. I'll just use this. And get my sealer all ready. There. And I'm just going to seal this envelope closed like it's got secrets. I can't even see a flame, but I can smell it. Oh, there it goes. This actually works really, really good for these. It's almost out of gas. There we go. Perfect. It's not exactly where I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be more central. But that's okay. Put the wax over there to cool. Take my sealer, it's my initial M, and I'll kind of push it over to the right and then just seal. And this is just an added element on my page. It's nothing inside of there, just to add some old book. There's my initial M. Can you see that? And then on top of this, I am going to write, inspired by that young girl's name, Naomi Wadier. I'm going to say, inspired by the voice of 11-year-old Naomi Wadier. So I'm going to write that right here. I was inspired by the voice. So I'm going to do that right now. So I've got that written on there, just like that. But before I do that, I'm just going to add little elements because I had some stuff just on my desk. So I think I want to take off that straight edge on there real quick. Don't want that on there. Looks too planned. So I'm just going to put a little bit of craft glue down. Glue it down. I'm going to go right up. Group that down, sort of. Glob it on down there. Put a little bit underneath. And these are just no rhyme, no reason, just some embellishments on the page. Then I want to add, did I want to put this there so you can see that leaf? So I'm going to put that like kind of like that. And then I've got this beautiful, these are the Junkyard Findings by Finnabar by Prima. And they all have different words on them. This light bulb says inspire. These light bulbs come big or small. I happen to have, I'm lucky enough to have both. So I'm going to put inspire there. So I'm just going to get all this glued down. So I've glued all these elements down. They're just about dry. And then I glued one in this corner over here. Some more of that lace stuff. Kind of ropey lace. Just to balance out the two pieces of lace on the page. Next I'm going to do is write Toni Morrison's words up here. So here's my page so far. So I've got, if there is a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, you must be the one to write it. The words of Toni Morrison, inspired to me by this Naomi Wadier. And so one thing I haven't done, I was going to go around this in a dark pen. Let me do that now. So I've got everything glued down, wrote up there. Then I noticed these spots were kind of plain to me, so I thought it was book writing. I just took a little bit of text and glued it down here and here. Again, the balance. And then for fun, I had these also, they're called Mechanicals from Prima. They're part of that, you know, Junkyard Findings. And they had typewriter keys. And I was like, well, this was typed, and this is about telling your story, maybe on a typewriter. But they only had numbers, and I thought, what numbers could I use? I'll use it for the date. So it's March, which is 3. And today is the 25th of March, so I'm going to put 3/25. And I thought that was just perfect way to use of these pieces. So there's 3. And that will put the date on our page. So cool. So here's our finished page up close. There's a Toni Morrison quote, handwritten with ultrafine Sharpie and that cool lacy fabric stuff. I don't even know where that came from. I love the background, the Tim Holtz Distress ink. Love it, love it, love it. The text in our book. And our title of our book, Be the Author of Your Own Story, typed on a typewriter. The pages, the typewriter keys with the date. And then I was inspired by the voice of 11-year-old Naomi Wattier. And then the light bulb that says Inspire. And then you see that little leaf there. I think it turned out really great. But more importantly, the whole message of this page is like, be your own author. Like she was saying, everyone accused her of having adults telling her what to do, her and her friends, and they know right from wrong. They know that everyone doesn't have the same advantages, and so they decided to make their own protest by walking out. Be the author of your own story. Do your own thing, and you can make a huge difference, because that little 11-year-old child has inspired and impressed more adults than I can even imagine. If you want to hear her whole speech, just go on YouTube and put in 11-year-old. It'll just pop up because it's been so popular. So anyway, be your own author. Be the author of your own story. And that's my page. And that's who I was inspired by. So thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week, week 12. Bye-bye.